The phone screen lit up, and Lana quickly picked it up to read. Emergency meeting, will be home late. It was a text from her husband, Victor. She replied thoughtfully, no problem. Be careful on the way. I'll wait for you at 8:40. The sound of the door lock finally turning came. Lana sprang up from the sofa and quickly tidied her hair. You're back. She went to meet him, taking Victor's briefcase. Did the meeting go smoothly? Victor gave a perfunctory his eyes never leaving the phone screen. He shrugged off his suit jacket and tossed it onto the sofa, loosening his tie. I made your favorite dish, but it might have gotten a bit cold. I'll go warm it up, Lana said, starting to head toward the kitchen. No need. I'm not hungry. Victor looked up, his gaze sweeping over the carefully set dining table, his brow furrowing slightly. Why all the fuss? Lana's smile froze on her face. Today is our 7th wedding anniversary. Is it? Victor paused for a moment, then his expression shifted to one of sudden realization. I've been so busy lately I forgot. Sorry. He walked over to the dining table and sat down, casually picking up a piece of fish that had already gone cold, and putting it in his mouth while his other hand kept scrolling on his phone. Lana sat down opposite him, cautiously asking, has work been very busy lately? Victor didn't even look up. Well, I went for a follow-up at the hospital today. The doctor said my health is improving, so we can try IVF again. Lana stirred the soup in her bowl as she spoke. Smack! Victor slammed his chopsticks heavily on the table. Can you stop bringing this up all the time? His voice suddenly rose. We've spent so much money, tried 3 times and failed. Isn't that enough? Lana was stunned by his sudden outburst, her eyes instantly reddening. I just thought maybe this time it would work. Victor sneered. Work. 7 years, Lana. 7 years, and you still can't have a child. If you're not ashamed, I am. His words stabbed into Lana's heart like a knife. She lowered her head, tears silently falling. Victor seemed to realize he had gone too far. I'm tired. I'm going to take a shower. He stood up and left, leaving the untouched dishes on the table and Lana sitting there in a daze. Victor went straight to the study after his shower, saying he still had work to handle. Lana picked up the shirt he had changed out of, ready to toss it into the laundry basket, but noticed a clear lipstick mark on the inside of the collar. She slowly slid down to the floor, clutching the shirt tightly as if that could hold on to something. But just like all the times over the years she had tried and failed to hold on to a child, this time she felt something slipping through her fingers, never to be found again. Lana, you can't keep fooling yourself. Her friend Faye threw a stack of photos down in front of her. They clearly showed Victor with his arm around a woman in a miniskirt, walking into the Crown Club. The time was last Wednesday, the day Victor went on a business trip out of town. It could be a client. You know their company has landed a lot of big projects recently. What about this one? Faye rolled her eyes and pulled up a video on her phone. In the video, Victor was passionately kissing that woman at the club entrance, his hand blatantly resting on her hip. A sharp pain twisted in Lana's stomach. She suddenly stood up and rushed to the bathroom, vomiting up the few mouthfuls of oatmeal she had forced down that morning. Faye followed her in, gently patting her back. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have been so harsh, but I can't just watch you keep being deceived by him. What am I supposed to do? First, gather evidence and find a good lawyer. I know one who specializes in divorce cases. Very reliable. If I pretend I don't know, will it be like nothing ever happened? Lana, 7 years, and he cheated on you just because you couldn't have children. Now he wants to shove all the blame onto you. He's not worth your love. You deserve better. At that moment, Lana's phone suddenly rang. It was Victor. She took a deep breath and answered. I'll be home for dinner tonight. Victor's voice was cold and harsh. Before she could respond, he hung up. He said he was coming home for dinner. She looked at Faye in confusion. Faye spoke up. Perfect. Tonight you and he need to clear things up. At exactly 7 o'clock in the evening, the doorbell rang. Lana wiped her hands and went to open the door, only to see her mother-in-law standing outside. Mom, what are you doing here? She asked in surprise. Victor's mother, Helen, looked at her with a complicated expression and softly said, May I come in? Lana quickly stepped aside. Helen entered the living room, glanced around and sighed. Victor still hasn't come back. He said he'd be back for dinner. He should be here soon. She poured a cup of tea for her mother-in-law. Have you eaten? Would you like to join us? Lana, how has Victor been treating you lately? Helen suddenly interrupted her. Her eyes carrying an emotion Lana couldn't quite read. Lana's hand trembled, spilling a little tea onto the coffee table. Why is Mom asking about this all of a sudden? It's fine, just that he's been very busy with work lately. Don't cover for him. Helen's voice suddenly grew stern. I know my own son. Well, does he have someone else on the side? Lana's eyes widened, her lips trembling as she was at a loss for words. I knew it. His father was the same back then. That gene is really strong, Helen sneered. Lana hadn't expected her mother-in-law to say that, and was momentarily unsure how to respond. Lana, listen to me. If Victor does anything terrible, you must tell me. I'm on your side, Helen said, gripping her hand. The sound of the door lock turning came, and Victor pushed the door open. Mom, what are you doing here? Can't I come see my daughter-in-law? Helen said coldly. Victor frowned and casually tossed his briefcase onto the sofa. Let's eat, I'm hungry. The atmosphere at the dining table was heavy. Lana kept her head down, eating in small bites, while Helen occasionally shot sharp glances at her son, or ate on his own, glancing at his phone from time to time. Victor, when are you and Lana planning to try for a baby again? Helen suddenly asked. Victor's face darkened. We've tried so many times and failed. What's the point of trying anymore? Medicine advances every day, and the main issue is with your sperm motility. Lana's health has already been restored. Mom, you don't need to interfere in my affairs. What's wrong? Did I say something wrong? I still have the test report, and you being useless yourself just push all the blame onto your wife. Victor's face flushed bright red as he turned to Lana. Since it's come to this, let's be clear, Lana. We're getting a divorce. What did you say? Lana never expected he would bring up divorce first. I said divorce. I don't want to waste any more time on a woman who can't have children. Helen slammed the table and stood up. Victor, are you crazy? Mom, this is my family matter, and you have no right to interfere. The house is yours, and we'll split the savings evenly. I've already drawn up the agreement. You just need to sign it. Lana trembled all over, suddenly finding it hard to breathe. 7 years of marriage, and he ended it so casually with just the word divorce. Is it because of that woman? It seems you already know. Fine. Yes, Yolanda is pregnant, and I have to take responsibility for my child. What child? Are you sure it's yours? Don't be foolish, Victor. Helen shouted sharply. Mom, please leave. Victor roared. Lana didn't want things to get too tense, so she gently tugged at her sleeve. Mom, you should go back first. I want to talk to him alone. Helen looked at her with concern, then finally sighed and picked up her bag. Lana, call me anytime if you need anything. She shot her son a sharp glare before turning to leave. Victor pulled a divorce agreement out of his briefcase and threw it in front of Lana. Sign it. Let's part on good terms. I need time to think. Do as you please. I'm moving out tonight. I'll give you a week to think it over. Victor walked toward the bedroom. Half an hour later, Victor dragged his suitcase and left their home. Lana stood by the window, watching him walk away without looking back, then finally collapsed to the floor and cried out loud. In the VIP room of the Crown Club, Victor held Yolanda's waist, drinking glass after glass. So, did you bring up the divorce with her? Yolanda leaned on his shoulder, asking in a coquettish voice. I did. She hasn't signed yet. I gave her a week to think it over. Yolanda pouted. Why didn't you say she would obey obediently? Give her some time. Victor rubbed his temples. My mom showed up out of nowhere and made things even more complicated. I don't care. Yolanda pulled out her phone and brought up a picture. Look, our baby has grown again today. On the screen was an ultrasound image. Victor's expression softened as he gently touched the screen. It's truly amazing. So you need to get the divorce done quickly. I don't want people calling our child illegitimate when they're born. Don't worry, it'll be settled soon. Victor kissed her forehead. Yolanda smiled with satisfaction, and while Victor was not paying attention, She quietly sent a message to another contact saved as Mr. Zhang on her phone. Done. He agreed to divorce within a week. The reply came quickly. Good, proceed as planned. Remember, under no circumstances let the child's matter slip. Yolanda locked her phone screen and nestled sweetly into Victor's arms, a sly glint flashing in her eyes. 5 days later, outside the Civil Affairs Bureau, since Victor moved out, Lana had barely slept. The dark circles under her eyes were no longer concealable, even with concealer. Let's go in, Victor said, looking at the haggard Lana. She nodded without a word. The divorce certificate was processed quickly. Victor took it and left without a word, leaving Lana alone stepping out of the Civil Affairs Bureau. The spring sunlight stung Lana's eyes painfully. Faye appeared out of nowhere, wrapping an arm around her shoulder. Come on, let's grab a coffee. I know a new place that's really good. On the cafe's terrace, Lana sipped her latte in small mouthfuls, feeling a bit down. Suddenly, Faye leaned in close, whispering mysteriously, "By the way, there's a business cocktail party tomorrow night. Come with me." "I don't want to go," Lana instinctively refused. "You have to. It's time you lived your own life instead of drowning in bad vibes over some jerk all day long. If you keep this up, you'll get sick. Just come with me, okay?" Faye wouldn't take no for an answer. Lana sighed and nodded. She knew Faye meant well for her. The next evening, Faye came to pick Lana up for the party. "At least put on some makeup, will you?" She looked at Lana's bare face and sighed helplessly. Lana shook her head. "I'll leave it as is. Makeup just isn't for me." Fortunately, her features were naturally striking, so she stood out even without makeup. The party was held in the grand ballroom of the city's most upscale hotel, where impeccably dressed business elites mingled, champagne glasses in hand, laughing and chatting. Lana felt like an intruder, utterly out of place. "Relax." Faye handed her a glass of juice. "See that man in the gray suit over there? That's Ethan, the new president of Chin Group. He took over the family business at 30, a rising star in the business world." Lana followed her gaze to see a tall, upright man talking with several older individuals. Among the group of elites, he stood out distinctly. As if sensing their stare, Ethan suddenly turned his head in their direction. Lana quickly looked away but heard Faye gasp. "Oh my, he's coming this way. Miss Faye." A deep, pleasant voice sounded beside her. Lana looked up and met Ethan's intense eyes up close. His features were even more defined, and there was an unspoken authority in his brows that commanded respect without anger. "Mr. Ethan, I didn't expect you to remember me." Faye was flattered and reached out her hand. Ethan shook it politely. "Your proposal for the environmental project last time was impressive." His gaze shifted to Lana. "And who is this?" "My best friend Lana." They quickly. Lana is a graphic designer and has won quite a few awards. A flicker of interest appeared in Ethan's eyes. "Oh, I wonder what Miss Lana thinks about emotional expression and minimalism." Lana was momentarily stunned, not expecting him to ask such a professional question. She pursed her lips and said softly, "I believe minimalism does not mean simplicity, but rather conveying the richest emotions with the fewest elements. Like the blank spaces in a painting, seemingly empty, yet full of profound meaning." Ethan raised an eyebrow slightly, seeming both surprised and appreciative of her answer. "Insightful. Our company is preparing to launch a new brand. Perhaps Miss Lana would be interested in participating in the design." Lana's eyes widened in surprise, momentarily at a loss for how to respond. Faye quietly gave her a sharp pinch on the lower back, bringing her back to reality. "Thank you for your recognition, Mr. Ethan, but right now Lana has been busy with a private project recently." Faye quickly interjected. Once that's finished, she would definitely be happy to take on new opportunities. Ethan nodded and took a business card from the inner pocket of his suit, handing it to Lana. "Looking forward to working with you, Miss Lana." After he left, Faye excitedly grabbed Lana's arm. "Oh my God, Ethan actually gave you his business card. Do you know how many people are scrambling to work with him?" Lana looked at the card, which had an excellent texture, no flashy decorations, but every detail reflected taste and strength. "I'm not in the mood to work right now," she said softly. "You're such a fool," Faye scolded, frustrated. This is your chance to turn things around. Besides, work is the best medicine for healing. Don't you get it? Lana tucked the business card into her purse, her gaze unconsciously following Ethan's figure. For some reason, looking at him seemed to ease the long-standing ache in her heart. Just a little at the luxury mansion sales office on the other side of the city, Victor was struggling to deal with Yolanda's unreasonable demands. I want this one. Yolanda pointed to the largest villa in the center of the model. Look, it has a swimming pool and a garden. The baby can play in the yard in the future. Victor glanced at the price tag, a cold sweat forming at his temple. Honey, this is a bit beyond our budget. Besides, we just bought the apartment we're living in now not long ago. Victor. Yolanda suddenly raised her voice, drawing a sideways glance from the saleswoman. Do you not love me anymore, or is it that you don't care about our child at all? Of course not, baby. Listen to me, the company has been having some cash flow problems lately, Victor quickly reassured her. I don't care. My best friend Lily's husband bought her a spacious apartment in District A of the new city. Am I any less than her? Yolanda pouted. Victor wiped the sweat from his forehead, recalling the big order that hadn't come through yet, and the bank's frequent calls demanding payment. But gazing at Yolanda's slightly rounded belly, he gritted his teeth. All right, we'll take this one. Yolanda immediately beamed and kissed him on the cheek. You're the best, hubby. By the way, I have my eye on a new Hermes bag. Will you come with me to check it out tomorrow? Victor forced a smile and nodded, but inside he was already calculating how to raise such a huge sum. He took out his phone and sent a message to finance. Transfer the advance payment for the Nanching project to my personal account first. It's urgent. The reply came quickly. Mr. Victor, that project hasn't been signed yet. This operation is risky enough. Just do it. Victor typed irritably, then looked up at the saleswoman and said, Let's reserve this unit for now. I'll come by next week to pay the down payment. As Victor walked out of the sales office, his phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID, his expression shifting slightly. Hello, Mom. You unfilial son. Helen's voice trembled with anger on the other end. Did you really divorce Lana and marry that nightclub girl? Victor hurried to a corner, lowering his voice. Mom, this is my private matter. Yolanda isn't a nightclub girl. She's just a temporary model. Nonsense. I've checked. Yolanda has been working at the Crown Club for 3 years. Whether the child in her womb is yours is anyone's guess. Mom, don't listen to nonsense. Lana and I have reached the end of our fate. There's no way for us anymore. Shut up. Helen cut him off. I'm telling you, if you dare divorce Lana, I'll tell your dad about you embezzling company funds. Victor's face instantly turned pale. How did you find out? Do you think your little tricks can fool me? Helen said coldly. I'm giving you 1 week to cut ties with that Yolanda, and go back to beg Lana for forgiveness. Otherwise, don't blame me for not caring about mother-son feelings. The call ended, and Victor stood still, the screen of the phone in his hand gradually dimming. He turned to look at Yolanda, who was taking selfies in front of the mansion, suddenly overwhelmed by an unprecedented fatigue and confusion. Lana stood before the Qing Group headquarters, looking up at the towering glass facade that pierced the sky, fine beads of sweat forming in her palm. It's just an interview, nothing to be nervous about. You can do this, she whispered to herself. After a chance encounter with Ethan at last week's party, Faye had been urging her with 3 calls a day to contact the CEO. Do you know how many designers are fighting tooth and nail to get into Qing Group? This is a godsend opportunity. Faye's voice echoed in her ears. The elevator went straight to the 35th floor, where Lana was led by the receptionist into a conference room to wait. The door opened, and a female assistant walked in. Miss Lana, Mr. Ethan has an unexpected meeting, so the interview will be conducted first by the director of the design department. Lana breathed a sigh of relief. Her interview with the department director went smoothly, and he praised the packaging design she had created. Miss Lana's work is very distinctive, especially the way she combines negative space with emotion. That's exactly what our new brand needs. Just as the conversation was getting deeper, the conference room door opened again. Lana turned her head and saw Ethan standing there. Sorry to interrupt, the meeting ended early. Miss Lana, would you mind continuing in my office? His gaze fixed directly on Lana. The design director immediately stood up and spoke for her. Mr. Ethan, Miss Lana is excellent, exactly the talent we need. Lana followed Ethan through the spacious office area to his office. Have a seat. What would you like to drink, coffee or tea? Ethan gestured toward the seating area by the window. Tea is fine, thank you. Ethan personally brewed a cup of jasmine tea and handed it to her. Then sat down opposite her. I've reviewed your portfolio. It truly is outstanding. Thank you, Mr. Ethan, for your appreciation. Lana took a sip of tea, the floral aroma blossoming on her tongue. Especially this eco-friendly packaging design, which visualizes the concept of reduction so elegantly, truly creative. Lana's eyes lit up. You understood that design. Many clients find it too abstract. Good design needs no explanation. Like this visual poem, the blank spaces are what touch the heart most. His precise critique gave Lana a warm sense of being understood. Unconsciously, they had been talking for nearly 2 hours. Lana, I hope you can take charge of the complete visual design for our new branch. As for the salary, how does $200,000 a month sound? Lana looked at him in shock. Mr. Ethan, I haven't had a full-time job for over a year, and besides, what I value is ability, not gaps in employment. Can you start work tomorrow? I can. Lana knew how rare this opportunity was, and she was determined to seize it. All right, I believe you can do it. Well, looking forward to a great collaboration. Ethan reached out to shake her hand. Lana began to devote herself fully to the new job, gradually forgetting that unpleasant marriage, and almost forgetting about Victor, that scumbag. Ethan seemed to take the project seriously as well, coming to the office every day to discuss progress with her. Though he didn't say much, his suggestions were always spot on. Lana found she enjoyed these brief exchanges with him, learning a lot in the process. Lana, do you have any plans for the weekend? On Friday afternoon, Ethan leaned against the door frame of her office and asked. Lana, adjusting the details of a logo, looked up at his question. Probably just staying home to revise the design drafts. Balancing work and rest is very important. Ethan walked in and casually picked up a sketch from her desk. The way you've handled these lines is brilliant. He stood very close, and she could smell the faint scent of ambergris cologne on him, mingled with a hint of bitter coffee. Her ears suddenly warmed, and she quickly lowered her head to continue drawing. Thank you. There's an art exhibition tomorrow. I heard the design you admire will be showcasing new work. Interested in going together? Was he asking her out to the exhibition? Unsure how to respond, she hesitated just as his phone rang. I'm going out to take a call. As Ethan reached the door, he turned back and said, Think it over. I can pick you up at 10 tomorrow. There seemed to be an urgent matter on the other end of the line, and Ethan left quickly. Lana watched his retreating figure, her heart inexplicably racing. Victor's company was going downhill. In the office, the financial director handed over a report with a grave expression. Mr. Victor, the advance payment for the South City project has been delayed for 2 weeks. The other party is threatening to sue us. He irritably loosened his tie. What about the bank? Our new loan application was rejected. Also, someone is secretly short-selling the company, and an investigation is underway. What? Find out who it is immediately. After the CFO left, Victor's phone rang. Yolanda sent a photo of a Hermes bag with a message. Honey, this limited edition just arrived. Only 380,000 yuan. Victor angrily threw his phone onto the sofa. Ever since buying that villa last time, Yolanda had become even more demanding for luxury goods, and his cash flow was already tight. That evening, he returned home to find Yolanda lying on the sofa watching a variety show. The room was a mess, with takeout boxes piled high on the coffee table. Where's my bag? She asked as soon as she saw him walk in. Victor rubbed his temples wearily. Yolanda, the company's been having some trouble lately. Can we just hold off for a bit? Her expression changed instantly. Victor, you promised. Even my best friend knows about this. Are you trying to embarrass me? You only know how to compete. Victor finally snapped. Do you have any idea how much pressure I'm under? The company might go bankrupt. Bankrupt? Yolanda screamed. What am I supposed to do? What about the children, you useless fool? Victor stared in shock at the contorted face of the woman before him, suddenly remembering that Lana had never cursed at him like this. A wave of regret surged in his heart as he turned and slammed the door behind him. In the end, Lana neither accepted nor declined Ethan's invitation to the art exhibition. On Saturday morning, she was home alone revising her design drafts when the doorbell suddenly rang. Peering through the peephole, she saw Victor standing outside, his tie askew and his eyes bloodshot. After a moment's hesitation, she opened the door. Victor immediately dropped to his knees. Lana, I was wrong. I really was. The heavy smell of alcohol hit her face, and she took a step back. You've had too much to drink. Yolanda is a liar. Victor clutched the hem of her clothes, crying out. She never loved me, only my money. Now that the company is going bankrupt, she's turned her back on me. Lana quietly looked at the man she once loved deeply, her heart already calm and unmoved. Victor, get up. No, listen to me. I regret it. Can we get back together? I don't care about having children. I just want to be with you, but I care. Victor, we're over. Please leave. Her voice was firm. Do you have another man? Already hooking up with someone else so quickly? Lana trembled with anger. Get out. Victor realized he had said the wrong thing and softened his tone. Lana, it's your birthday today. Remember last year I even bought you a cake? She hadn't expected him to remember her birthday. She paused for a moment, then regained her composure and opened the door. Please leave. We're divorced. Victor ignored it and staggered toward her. Suddenly, a voice came from behind him. Victor turned around, and Lana was staring straight at Ethan, who was holding an exquisite gift box and a bouquet of white roses. The three fell into an awkward silence. Looks like I came at the wrong time. Ethan's gaze lingered on Victor for a moment, before turning to Lana. Happy birthday, Lana. I wanted to surprise you. Victor's face turned ashen. Who are you? Ethan nodded slightly. You must be Lana's ex-husband, right? Lana and I have a date later. Do you have anything else to discuss? Ethan walked into the room, placed the flowers and gift on the coffee table, then handed her a handkerchief. Thank you. How did you know it was my birthday? Lana said, wiping her tears. You are my most valuable employee. How could I not know? His teasing made Lana smile through her tears. She looked at the white roses on the coffee table, then at Ethan's deep eyes, suddenly feeling a long-lost sense of security. Don't you want to see what I got you? Ethan pointed to the gift box. She carefully unwrapped the packaging to find a set of rare discontinued stamps, something she had mentioned on social media. Back in college, a collection she had long dreamed of owning. How did you even know about this? She asked, stunned. Ethan smiled faintly. A designer should understand their client, and the client should understand the designer. I did my homework. Meeting Ethan's focused gaze as he looked at her, Lana's heart raced once again. After Lana's birthday, her relationship with Ethan became delicate. After work, they occasionally had dinner together, chatting about art, travel, and childhood memories. As the end of the day approached, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Ethan. I'm waiting for you downstairs. Lana quickly replied with an okay, then tidied her desk, preparing to leave. Downstairs, Ethan leaned against a black Mercedes, waiting for her. Seeing her approach, he immediately gentlemanly opened the car door. Come with me to a dinner party tonight. Is this dinner party important? I don't think this outfit is appropriate, Lana said, glancing down at her office suit. The annual Business Leaders Dinner is quite the industry event. It's a perfect opportunity to introduce you to some potential clients. I'll take you to change first. Lana nodded, though a flutter of nervousness stirred in her heart. The banquet hall was resplendent with golden grandeur. As Lana linked arms with Ethan and entered, she felt countless eyes turn toward them. Ethan calmly nodded greetings to all sides, occasionally whispering the background of some important figure to her. Mr. Ethan, I've heard so much about you. It's a pleasure to finally meet today. An elderly man with white hair approached. Chairman by Ethan smiled and shook hands. This is Lana, the design director of our company's new brand. The elder man appraised Lana appreciatively. The Ching family truly has a wealth of talent. I've seen Miss Lana's designs. They're full of spirit. She smiled politely and thanked him, inwardly surprised by Ethan's standing in the industry. In just half an hour, she had already received 5 business cards and 3 collaboration offers. A waiter passed by with champagne. Ethan took 2 glasses and handed her one. Relax. You look like a rabbit ready to bolt at any moment. Lana took a sip of champagne. I'm not really used to this kind of occasion. You'll get used to it gradually. With your talent, you'll be attending events like this often in the future. His trust warmed Lana's heart. At that moment, Lana caught a glimpse of a familiar figure. Victor was standing not far away, talking with a few people. Ethan immediately noticed her unease and followed her gaze. Want to leave? She took a deep breath and shook her head. No need. We're no longer involved, but fate seemed to have other plans. Moments later, Victor looked up and saw them. His expression instantly froze. He hurriedly ended his conversation and walked toward them. Lana, I didn't expect to see you here. Mr. Victor, Ethan nodded slightly, his arm naturally wrapping around Lana's waist. Victor's eyes fixed on that hand, his face darkening. Mr. Ethan knows my wife. She's my ex-wife. Lana spoke up to correct him. Ethan is my boss and friend. Friend? Victor sneered. Things are moving fast. We've only been divorced for 3 months, and you already have a new lover. Victor, please watch your words and the occasion. Lana is my companion, so show her some respect. Ethan interrupted him, his voice low but filled with authority. The guests around them had begun to glance over. Victor seemed to realize his misstep and lowered his voice. Lana, can we talk alone? Just 5 minutes. No need. There's nothing left for us to discuss. A flicker of panic crossed Victor's eyes. Lana, I really regret it. Please give me one more chance. Husband. A sharp female voice rang out. Yolanda hurried over in high heels, her belly already quite large. She grabbed Victor's arm and glared at Lana. What a coincidence. The ex-wife's sister is here too. Lana instinctively took a half step back, bumping into Ethan's solid chest. His palm gently pressed against her waist, offering silent support. So this is Mr. Ethan, right? Yolanda sized Ethan up and down, her tone suddenly turning syrupy sweet. I've heard so much about you. I'm Yolanda. Ethan nodded coldly, clearly unwilling to engage with her, but Yolanda was relentless. Ex-wife's sister. I heard you work at Chang Snow. Impressive to find such a good new place after the divorce. She glanced meaningfully, LOY at Ethan's arm around Lana and said, but you know a woman who can't have children will never become a phoenix. Enough, Victor hissed sharply. Security. This lady seems to have had too much to drink. Please escort her out, Ethan said in unison. 2 security guards immediately stepped forward. Yolanda's face changed drastically. How dare you? I'm pregnant. Do you know who I am? I don't care who you are. Security, drag her out. Don't let her show up in front of me again, or I'll make sure you all lose your jobs. Ethan was truly furious this time. The guests around began whispering, some even taking out their phones to record. Victor's face turned ashen as he grabbed Yolanda and headed out. Don't make a fool of yourself. Yolanda struggled, shouting sharply. Lana, you think climbing onto a high branch makes you special? Sooner or later, you'll be abandoned. The security quickly escorted her out of the venue. Victor stood awkwardly for a moment before trailing out in defeat. On the hotel rooftop, the night breeze was cool. Ethan had somehow gotten hold of the key, and at this moment, the private space belonged to just the 2 of them. Lana leaned on the railing, finally letting the tears she had held back for so long flow down. Ethan stood a step away, giving her space yet remaining close enough to reach. I'm sorry, Lana choked out. Ethan shook his head. The ones who should apologize are them. He paused for a moment, then softly asked, do you want to talk about it? About the child? It was the wound she least wanted to touch, but now facing Ethan, she found herself wanting to open up. We tried for 3 years, natural conception, IVF, all failed. She gazed slowly at the distant city lights. Ethan listened quietly. At first, Victor said it didn't matter if we couldn't have children, we could adopt. But as time went on, he grew colder toward me, and in the end you know what happened. She cheated. He wasn't worthy of you. Ethan's voice was firm now. Do you understand why I've kept my distance from you all this time? I can't have children, and that's a burden for any man, especially someone like you. I don't care. Ethan stepped forward, gently wiping the tears from her face. Lana, listen to me. What I want is you. Whether or not we have children doesn't matter. She was momentarily stunned. My parents have long accepted that I might not have children. Besides, there are so many children in the world who need a home. If we want in the future, adoption is a good option. Are you serious? I've never been this serious before. Ethan gently cupped her face. These 3 months together have convinced me that you are the one I've been looking for. Intelligent, strong, talented, and breathtakingly beautiful. He slowly leaned down and placed a tender kiss on her lips. No rush to decide. I'll wait until you're ready. Lana looked at the man who had unexpectedly entered her life, and suddenly understood that some encounters are destined. The phone on the coffee table vibrated. It was Yolanda. She was taking a shower. Rushing water came through the door. Victor hadn't intended to pay attention, but when the screen lit up, a message preview popped up from a contact. It said, Mr. Zhang, baby, I miss you. When can we meet? Victor's fingers froze in midair. Mr. Zhang? Which Mr. Zhang? He hesitated for a second, then picked up the phone. The password was Yolanda's birthday, and he unlocked it easily. Did the baby kick? You want to feel? Annoying. I miss you too. See you at the usual place tomorrow. Victor thought, that idiot still hasn't found out, right? Don't worry, he's busy going bankrupt. He has no time to bother with me. He scrolled through their chat history. Explicit messages and photos flashed before his eyes. A surge of heat rushed to his head. The bathroom door opened, and Yolanda came out drying her hair. Seeing the phone in Victor's hand, her face instantly turned pale. Victor, how dare you look at my phone? She rushed over, trying to snatch it. Victor suddenly stood up, holding the phone high. Who is Mr. Zhang? Just a friend. Give me back my phone. Yolanda's eyes darted nervously. Friends will ask if your baby has kicked. Will they arrange to meet you at the usual place? Sure, you want to check on me. Well, have you figured it out? Whether this child is really yours is still up in the air. His mind flashed back to his mother's earlier warning. Whether the seed in her belly is yours is hard to say. I want to do a paternity test with you. Do it. Do it right now. But Victor, think it through. If you do this, we're completely finished. Get dressed. Go to the hospital right now. 3 days later, Victor sat alone in the lawyer's office. A paternity test report lay out before him. The results were clearly printed, excluding any biological father-child relationship between the tested man and the fetus. The lawyer slid over a document. Mr. Victor, based on this report, you are not only relieved of any child support obligations, but you can also sue Ms. Yolanda for fraud. Furthermore, all the luxury goods and properties you purchase for her can be reclaimed. Victor nodded silently. His phone kept vibrating, the screen showing more than 20 missed calls from Yolanda and countless abusive text messages. Stepping out of the law firm, the sunlight stung his eyes painfully. He got into the car and suddenly started pounding the steering wheel like a madman until his palms were red. When he calmed down, his phone vibrated again. Victor glanced at the caller ID and quickly answered. Mom, now you decide to call me? I told you long ago that Yolanda was no good. Mom, I was wrong. I want to win Lana back. His voice choked with emotion. There was silence on the other end for a few seconds before Helen said, It's too late, son. Lana already has a new boyfriend, Ethan from the Ching group, and I heard Lana is pregnant with twins. Helen continued, her tone suddenly complicated. What? Victor sat up sharply. Impossible. The doctor said she couldn't have children. Facts are facts, Helen interrupted him. Victor, let it go. You've lost someone who truly loved you. After hanging up, Victor wept bitterly. Are they really twins? Ethan held her hand tightly, his grip so strong it hurt her, but his eyes shone like stars. Doctor, are you sure there was a diagnosis? Before saying it would be difficult for her to conceive, the old doctor smiled and pushed up his glasses. Ms. Lana's uterine condition is indeed not ideal, but these two little ones are very strong. Look, here's the heartbeat. Two small dots pulsed rhythmically on the screen. Lana looked at these two tiny lives, tears welling up uncontrollably. She turned to Ethan and saw that he was silently crying too. We're going to be parents. Ethan's voice trembled as he leaned down to kiss her forehead. Thank you, Lana said. Ethan carefully supported her at every moment, as if she were a fragile glass doll. She couldn't help but laugh out loud. I'm only 5 weeks pregnant. I can walk on my own. In the sunlight, Ethan's silhouette was edged with a golden glow. Lana suddenly felt that all the hardships fate had given her might have been to bring her to this man. By the way, my parents want to meet you. How about this weekend? She nervously grabbed his arm. Is it okay for me to look like this? It's the perfect time. They'll be over the moon when they find out. Ethan smiled and gently squeezed her hand. The old Qing family residence sat nestled in a quiet garden on the outskirts of the city, a perfect blend of traditional Chinese architecture and modern design. Lana wore a loose light blue dress with Ethan walking beside her, supporting her. Don't be afraid. My parents are very easy to get along with, he whispered in her ear. The door opened, and an elegant middle-aged woman stepped out. Her features bore a striking resemblance to Ethan's. You're here. Come in quickly. Mrs. Jing warmly grasped Lana's hand. You must be Lana, right? You're even more beautiful than in the photos. In the living room, Mr. Qing put down his newspaper and stood up, his stern expression softening when he saw Lana. Welcome. Ethan talks about you often. Ethan cleared his throat. Dad, Mom, we have something to announce. Lana nervously clenched the hem of her skirt. Mrs. Jing looked at her keenly, then suddenly her eyes lit up. Wait, let me guess. Are you pregnant? Ethan smiled and nodded. Lana is pregnant with twins. Mrs. Jing nearly dropped her teacup, standing up excitedly. Oh my goodness, this is wonderful. She hugged Lana tightly. Dear, are you okay? Any morning sickness? Do you need any supplements? Lana was taken aback by the reaction. I'm fine, just a bit nauseous this morning. Ethan. Mr. Qing suddenly called his son by his full name sternly. Come to the study with me. Lana's heart tightened as she looked at Ethan. He gently patted her hand and followed his father out. Mrs. Jing noticed her unease and softly held her hand. Don't worry, the old man is just putting on a show. He's actually over the moon. Last night, he even secretly asked me what gift he should prepare for his future daughter-in-law. I hesitated, but Auntie, don't you mind my past? Ethan must have told you, right? I was once divorced and can't have children. Mrs. Jim took over the conversation, shaking her head. Lana, life is long. Who hasn't taken a wrong turn? What matters is the present and the future. One must look forward. Ethan and Mr. Qin returned. Mr. Chang's expression was still serious, but there was a smile in his eyes. Lana, welcome to the Arkham family. Ethan winked at her from behind and made a victory sign. One weekend evening, Lana was washing food in the kitchen when a sudden sharp abdominal pain struck. She bent over in agony. Lana, what's wrong? Ethan rushed over anxiously to support her. My stomach hurts so much, she said, drenched in cold sweat, feeling as if liquid was flowing beneath her. Placental abruption in a pregnant woman. Immediate surgery is required. The doctor's voice echoed in the emergency room. Ethan's hands trembled uncontrollably after signing the surgery consent form. Mr. Ethan, if there is danger during the operation, should we prioritize saving the mother or the baby? The doctor asked seriously. Save the mother at all costs. Save the mother, he said firmly. The operating room door closed. Cheng's mother had somehow come to his side, gently stroking his back. She will be fine, Mom. I can't lose her. I really can't. Ethan's voice choked with emotion. Cheng's mother pulled him into her arms, just like when he was a child. This man, who once commanded the business world with authority, now silently wept in his mother's embrace. After 5 hours of surgery, the lead surgeon finally emerged, his eyes above the mask tired but relieved. The operation was successful. Both mother and child are safe. Ethan breathed a sigh of relief, almost dropping to his knees. How is she? Miss Lana is very strong. Although she was premature, the bleeding is under control and her uterus has been saved, the doctor said with a smile. They are 2 boys. Although their weight is on the lighter side, their vital signs are stable, and they have already been taken to the neonatal intensive care unit. Ethan wept with joy, turning around to tightly embrace Mrs. Ching. Mom, did you hear that? I have sons. Lana gave me 2 sons. Mrs. Chin was also in tears. Go see them quickly. In the neonatal intensive care unit, 2 tiny lives lay in incubators connected to various monitoring devices. Ethan watched them through the glass, his heart swelling with an emotion he had never felt before. These were his sons, the blood of him and Lana. They're so small, Mrs. Chin whispered softly. When Lana woke up, the first thing she saw was Ethan's bloodshot eyes and weary face. She wanted to speak but had no strength. Ethan immediately took her hand, his voice gentle as if afraid to disturb her. Be good, don't speak, just rest. The babies are fine, 2 little warriors. Though premature, they're very healthy. Tears streamed down Lana's temples into her hairline. Ethan bent down and kissed her forehead. Thank you, Lana. Thank you for surviving. Thank you for giving me 2 little angels. Lana gently stroked the incubator where the 2 little ones were sleeping peacefully. Ethan wrapped his arms around her from behind, resting his chin on the top of her head. Have you thought of names? Tim. Alex, she whispered. Ethan tightened his arms, holding her even closer. Outside the window, sunlight pierced through the clouds, bathing the family of 4 in a warm, bright glow. The scent of fresh flowers filled the air. At the wedding venue, Lana stood before the full-length mirror, gazing at herself in the white wedding dress. The delicate lace outlined her graceful figure, giving no hint that she was already a mother of 2. Mom! A tender voice came from the doorway. The nanny entered, carrying 1-year-old Tim and Alex. The 2 little ones wore white suits, their big dark eyes curiously studying her. My darlings! Lana bent down to take the children, planting a kiss on each of their rosy cheeks. The twins were already able to toddle around, though still a bit unsteady. But today, they were to serve as the little flower children at their parents' wedding. The past year felt like a dream, although the twins were born prematurely. With careful care, they quickly caught up to normal developmental milestones. Are you ready? Mrs. Ching pushed the door open, and upon seeing her daughter-in-law dressed up, her eyes instantly welled with tears. Lana, you look so beautiful. Lana smiled and embraced her mother-in-law. Over the past year, Mrs. Ching had treated her like her own daughter, not only helping care for the children, but also providing many valuable connections when Lana was starting her business again. The wedding was held in the backyard garden of the Chin family villa. As the wedding march played, Lana walked slowly toward the flower arch. At the end of the arch, Ethan stood tall and proud in a black tailcoat. When he saw Lana, the love in his eyes nearly overflowed. The twins wobbled ahead of their mother, their small hands clutching baskets of petals. But they forgot to scatter the flowers, instead curiously looking around, causing the guests to chuckle. Alex even plopped down on the ground, grabbing a handful of petals and stuffing them into his mouth, luckily stopped in time by the quick-handed nanny, prompting another round of warm laughter from the crowd. Ethan couldn't wait any longer. He strode forward, took her hand and whispered, "You're so beautiful. You take my breath away." At the banquet, Lana changed into a red evening gown and danced the first dance with Ethan. His arm firmly supported her waist as he whispered in her ear, "You know, the first time I saw you at the party, I wanted to hold you like this and dance." Lana pressed her face against his chest, inhaling the familiar scent of ambergris on him. "Back then, I never imagined this day would come," she said. "I did," Ethan replied, his voice carrying a smile. "From the moment I first saw you, I knew you were my final destination."